Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All bless you.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining our morning call on Bhagavad-gita. How are you all doing today? Can you?
Transcendental.
Ishwari Radha is very happy, and so is Neil Prabhu. And on Facebook, we are joined today by Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, Vijay Lakshmi Nair Mataji, and Sutapa is also there on Facebook today. And Garima joined us on the Zoom call. Okay, so should we get started with our Vikyapti Panchika prayers for today? Okay, good. And Achyuta Radhe also came in with a bang. All right. So I will begin my morning ritual of starting to share the screen with you, and let's see how that goes. Okay, share the screen on everything on desktop too. And if you can confirm that you see this, that'll help me.
Yes.
All right. So let me go back here to my Zoom. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma Naparadhi cha kaschana parihare pilajjame kim bhuve purushottama yuvatinam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvatau yatha mano me ramata tadvan mano me ramatam tvayi bhumau skalita padanam bhumau evavalambanam त्वयि जाता पराधाना त्वमेवा शरणं प्रभु गोविन्दा वल्लभे राधे प्रार्थये त्वामहं सदा त्वदीयं इति जानातु गोविन्दो मां त्वया सह राधे वृन्दावनाधीशे करुणामृतवाहिनी Kripaya Nija Padabja Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyataam. Okay, so Neil Prabhu, I can hear some typing sounds here. So I'm assuming you are building the reading order for us, or maybe you already did.
Yes, Mataji, I just shared.
Alrighty, okay, thank you so much. So who's going to go and do the translations for us?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I will. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you.
O Srimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants.
O Shrimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. All right, so we have two more who joined us since morning. We have Priyanka Mataji, Deepal Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Suruchi, and Garima. So what are your reflections for today? And we are also joined by Divyanga Prabhu on Facebook. And this is fantastic. Thank you so much, Divyanga Prabhu, for your presence. It makes this gathering even more auspicious here. And Bhaskarananda Das Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Vidyavadu Devi Dasi, Hari Krishna, Dandavat, and Radha-gipa Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. So happy to have you here. Okay, and I think somebody was trying to share a reflection. Those of you who are also on Facebook can type in your reflections here. And while we are waiting for the responses to bring you there, I'll take responses from the Zoom call. Okay, so was it Varshana who was trying to say something? She's screen is frozen.
Samonasti papatma aparadhi chakashchana parihare pilajame kimbruve purushottama.
Alrighty, very good. Okay.
Please consider me assistant at you and Radharani's lotus feet.
Yeah.
And then Mataji, that line, I mean, that's like wish, but I feel very humbled that I don't know when will I become qualified or how will I become qualified. And I just pray that first give me the qualification or give me the strength so that I can at least try to become qualified for that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point that you bring. So how do you think that we can get qualified to serve? How do we get qualified to do it?
Serving the devotees and learning to become more and more humble and learning to love others.
Yes. So it's very interesting that the closer you want to get to Krishna, the farther removed you have to be as far as your service is concerned, right? So getting close to Krishna means like jumping on the altar and dressing them, right? And decorating them and like that, right? But the interesting thing is that you will get closer to that spot by first starting from the farthest off position. Like Dasanu, they say million times removed. And Krishna likes it. So why do you think Krishna likes that? Why is Krishna happy if we serve a devotee?
Because Krishna really loves his devotees. So it's just like a mother gets happiness when his child is, somebody do something for their child.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very good. Any other ideas on why Krishna is happy when we serve his devotees?
I think it reminds me of a song. Sorry.
Good.
It is from in Gujarati. They have like Ram Nam Bank. The Ram Nam Bank, like the ભક્તોની સહીથી નાડા મળી જાય છે. So with the signature of the devotees, you get all the returns. So, and it's like even all your savings are also the name of the Lord as much as you speak. So those are your moody main parts.
Wow.
So I think it's same as applied here. It's because when we serve the devotees, then God would be happy, because eventually the true devotees are really serving the Lord himself, and then not vying for actually showing, okay, I am doing this, so I am a great devotee. Or the one who is farther away is more probably humble, or
Yes.
at least proper mode of.
Yes, because when you're up on the altar, you're in the limelight, right? Everybody's seeing, oh wow, there's a priest and his clothes and things like that. But those who are really working behind the scenes, so far removed from Krishna, Krishna still sees. Like how Vashikavu always says that when you give a garland to Krishna, Krishna knows who has made that garland, although that person might not be even there, right? Like in our temple, garlands are made beforehand, or in any temple for that matter, right? So garlands are made beforehand, and but Krishna knows who's the devotee he put for each and every flower. He knows who put that flower in the garland, right? Now, one of the things that is said about devotional service when we talk about is that it's kleshagna, it removes all your distress and things like that. And one of the things also that is it's very rarely achieved. And so in the nectar of devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, this comes up, and then this is explained as, why is devotional service so rare? And Krishna will not give it easily to you. That's why it is rare. So why does Krishna not give it easily to you? Is because when a person becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, he starts to control Krishna. Krishna comes under the control of his devotees, and he doesn't like it. So he'll rarely give it, to really the ones who are deserving. And so when he comes under the control of devotees, like here right now, we are at least I'm not a pure devotee of the Lord, so he's constantly controlling me here and there. Things are happening beyond my control, like that. But then as you become closer to Krishna, and as you evolve and get elevated in devotional service, then Krishna starts to listen to you. I mean, see, Krishna likes what Radha does, and Krishna does what Radha likes. And what exactly is that? The extremes of submission to your devotee, right? He'll do what Radha likes, like that. So Krishna will not give it easily to you, and the devotees start controlling them to the extent that even what Krishna wants to do something, they will not let him do it. And which is that Krishna wants to serve his devotees as a reciprocation, right? Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam satyeva bhajamimam, right? So whichever way you do, Krishna reciprocates. So when you are doing to that other extreme of serving Krishna, Krishna also wants to reciprocate in the same way, and he wants to serve you. But the devotee will not allow. And that is the control a devotee has at that high stage, that I won't allow you to serve me. But he wants the devotee to be served. And so when you go and start serving them, Krishna is happy, because otherwise you will not allow him to do that, and he will not take any service from any person. So so when we are saying that, I want to be qualified to become a servant of Radharani, she will consider that when we first start serving, everybody else who are standing in the line like that ahead of us already. Okay. Yeah. More reflections, and welcome Prasanna Prabhu and Divyangi Mataji. And Sutapa says, I am all yours. If that is the mood, Krishna will be happy at that time. Yes. And to say that I'm all yours is a big deal. To say that I'm all yours is that, I'm sold to you. You have purchased me, right? Like when we purchase something in our lives. Give me an example of something that you have purchased in your life. Few examples.
Our car.
Your car. Okay. What else? Clothes. Okay. Didn't purchase anything else?
Mataji, we generally, many a times, we tell this to our children. You see, they're sitting, okay, I'm all yours. What do you want me to do? So many a times when they were kids, you see, we used to tell them, I'm all yours. All my time is for you.
Yes. Like, okay, now come, let's sit here. 5 to 6 o'clock, I'm all yours. right? Yeah, but tell me about something that you would have purchased in life. So car is taken, clothes are taken. What else? Give me
Home.
home,
Furniture.
right?
Wow.
Okay. Yeah,
Computer, mobile phones.
computer, mobile phones, right? So we kind of purchase things, and then sometimes we have enough money to buy the thing, put down the money and buy it, and sometimes we don't, right? For example, what are things that you purchase on a loan?
Home.
House,
House,
House.
right? Right.
house,
So when you
car.
there, yes, your house, sometimes car also you can purchase on a loan. So then the documents are saying that this is your home, this is your car, but then the bank owns it, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm just living it. And then when you finish all the payments and all of that, they transfer the title to your name. And then the house is all yours, right? So all yours means all yours. And then yeah, that now that the house is all yours, you can do everything, anything that you like to do with the house. As long as the house is in the name of the bank, right? You cannot sell the house like that. You have to take permission and you go to the hoops and things like that. So when I'm saying I'm all yours, then that means that Krishna, I'm allowing you to do anything that you like me and you would do with me. And it's a tall claim because even when we say, oh, I'm all yours to anybody else in our lives, then after some time we just start thinking like, why did I say that? And we forget that. And,
Yes, Mataji, I'm doing this prayer, and when I sit down, I mean, as soon as I complete my sentence, somewhere deep down my heart, I'm scared now that, and then I tell Krishna that why am I so scared? I know that you're there to take care, but I'm just so attached to, I think, this comfort that I'm worried that what if Krishna starts to play with my comforts and I am not ready to lose them.
Yes. And then why are we afraid? Why are we afraid of that? Why are we afraid of losing our comforts? Is because we are parts and parcel of Krishna and we are pleasure seekers. We are seeking pleasure everywhere, right? So the thought that I have to give it up is a scary thing. And so and this has got to do with the faith. So Adau Shraddha, devotional service starts with faith, but then it gets strengthened as you go along. Right, as you progress in devotional service, you go for bhajana kriya to make it a formal thing that you do in your life, and then you go through anartha nivritti. So those are stages that you go to, and at every stage as you go along, your shraddha starts to become very, very strong, right?
And that's what I like about that prayer, that it says that give me like courage.
Yes. So we need that all the time, and it will come. Krishna will give, but then he asks certain things in return. So he's a good businessman. Like we try to do business with Krishna, but Krishna is a better businessman than than we are, right? And so, yeah, that's why I always say be careful of what you pray for, because you might just get it and then regret.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
Mataji, in here and in US, you see many a times, you see when we purchase a house, suppose we have bought a house at the age of 35, 40, and you have taken a loan for 30 years. You are already 70, 75. Your one foot is in the graveyard, you see, and now you have, what is the point? So I feel the time for going back is already there.
Yeah, such is the material world. And then it should open eyes. It should open our eyes. These kind of things should open our eyes, right, to the realities of life. So sometimes,
Mataji,
yeah.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'll come to you. Yeah, so I was saying that sometimes you get so focused on the goal that we forget that there is a journey towards the goal, and we forget to enjoy that journey as well. We are so focused on the goal, right? So living in the house, if the only thought that is in my house is that somehow or the other I have to pay off the mortgage, somehow or the other this house has to become mine, right? But if you are living with the understanding that this house really belongs to Krishna, he has just leased it to me. Even if you go purchase a house, even if you do the complete payment in the beginning or in the end, wherever, over a period of 35 years, or right in the beginning if you are have got so much of endowments, but still You are on lease. The house is still leased to you. I mean, I'd like you to just, sometime during the day today close and think, what's going to happen to the house in which you're living after you're gone, right? Somebody else. I mean, sometimes in this condo that I live, sometimes I also wonder that, so it was a Japanese family that used to live here. And I always used to wonder, like, oh, so some, like 20 years ago, somebody else was moving in this room. And then 20 years from now, somebody else could be roaming in this room. So we are really on a lease. Everything that we have got, including this body, is a lease. It has been leased to us from God. And there was I read somewhere, some time ago on internet, and it was very good. It was a very nice thing to think about. And they said that um, they were talking about freeways, how fast you can go on freeways. And they said that, the freeways have enabled that you can go from the east coast of America to the west coast of America in no time at all, and without realizing that there is beautiful scenery in between, right? That's what we're doing. At 60 miles per hour, you can't even, you can't risk it. You can't risk to, turn your eyes and enjoy the scenery, because you'll be involved in an accident like that. So yes, so similarly for the devotional service, sometimes people are like, why is Krishna not coming? Why cannot not Krishna? And that becomes a source of frustration to you. No, where he will should reveal himself to you. It will happen. You enjoy the journey also. And sometimes in the journey, there might be a stone that'll come, and we might trip over it and we will fall down. And it's okay if you fell down. You just get up and start on your journey again, like that, right? Ishwari Radha, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, when you were saying earlier, or you were asking, what are the things that we purchase, right?
Yes.
And so when you said that, I was thinking, I said house. And once you buy the house, it's like really a lot of the upadhi starts, meaning like you have to maintain everything, right? So it's not that you purchased it and you're happy and you're the owner and you're like, telling everybody or whatever, but along with that comes all the responsibility, all the, payments and whatever. You have to keep maintaining everything. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yes. And isn't it like in this material world, everything is just falling apart? I mean,
Yep.
even if you dig a nail on the wall and you come back after 10 years and look at it, the nail would have come out. Everything is breaking. And everything, of course, what you didn't want to break will break. Bathroom, the toilet flush, the kitchen faucet, the air conditioning, right? They all break. The remote. Yeah, but you do bring in an interesting point in not whatever you own, there is a responsibility for you also to take care of it, and maintenance is very difficult. That's why this material universe is created by the construction. The engineer of this universe is a jiva soul, Brahma, right? Jiva like us. You do some, live for 100 lifetimes in a very proper manner, then you are eligible to take the post of Brahma, like that. But so destruction is done by Shiva, who is, in between material and spiritual, complete spiritual, like that. But to maintain it, you require a Vishnu. So maintenance is difficult. Always it is a difficult thing. Yeah. What else do you think here? And Bhagyaji Mataji is also come. Hare Krishna, Bhagyaji Mataji and Rajiv Bansal Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. Yeah, any thoughts over here? I'm just scanning Facebook to see. I don't want to neglect them here. Yeah. And then Sutapa says that I'm all yours. If that is the mood, Krishna will be happy at that time. Yes, yes. And we do everything to please Krishna. Kim Bhruve Purushottama is Achyuta Radhe saying, yeah. Yeah, sometimes we are so ashamed of what we have done. And then as Vidyavadu says, that we will say, please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet, yeah, which we discussed here as well. Yeah. Anything more you want to talk about? Okay, so let's go and do our second prayer for the day. So we are increasing in our capacity to do prayers. And let me share the screen with you again here. And this time, I hope I do the right thing. Can you tell me? Can you see this? verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhila instructing.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, we can see.
All right. And who is going in next now?
That would be me.
All right.
Sakrad evam prasanno yasa tavasmiti cha yaktaye abhyanam sarvada tasmai dadmai etad vratam mama.
Pratam Mama. Right. Very good. Very good choice. Okay. Who goes next after
Synonym.
synonym?
Sakrat, once, only, eva, certainly, prapannaha, surrendered, ya, anyone who, twa, yours, tava, yours, asmi, I am, iti, thus, cha, also, yachate, praise, abhayam, fearlessness, sarvada, always, tasmai, unto him, dadami, I give, etat, this, vratam, vow, mama, my.
Translation. This is my vow that if one only one seriously surrenders unto me, saying, "My dear Lord, from this day I am yours," and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time. Hare Krishna.
So Priyanka Mataji, see how this verse is saying? You had said that I get that fear that when I surrender to Krishna, then what's going to happen? Right? If he's going to really take away all my comforts and things like that when I'm saying I belong to you and I'm yours. But he's saying that, I will give you the courage to face that. And it's all about courage, isn't it? It's all about courage. When the same thing can happen to two different people and they can react to it in a different manner. One can just get overwhelmed with it and, take some drastic steps. And the other person could have the courage to just face it. And then, they are on the other side, having done that, like that. So courage is very important to have the courage, which is like, you're not having the fear. And Krishna says in the Bhagavatam, 11th canto, when the Navyogendras are talking. So they are saying that fear arises when we think that, when we think of things separately from Krishna, and we get into them, thinking things separately from Krishna is like getting into the material world, into material things. And so fear comes from there. But then the fear will go away when you bring in a spiritual master in your life. 11:237, verse number 11:237 says that and you serve your spiritual master with your heart and soul, then you will get that courage, that fearlessness will come to you. I mean, look at Prabhupada, right? Was he fearless or not? 2 heart attacks on the way to America and still landing and not going back, like that, right? It is fear. They're fearless. People who take sannyas, they are fearless, isn't it? Like for us, if the paycheck stops coming one month, or if the company says, okay, we have to reduce your salary a little bit, we're also worried, right? It's not that it's not that we are going to die. It's not because if we take a salary cut that we won't be able to eat things. But we have this thing of, storing things for the future also, right? Not proportionately to how much we will need it in the future. Right? So once I get something nicely for my future, then I start thinking like, let me also save something for my kids. And then of course, the grandkids come along and then you're like, okay, let me leave something for their education also. And then if you have got that, then, maybe for their wedding also. And then there's no end to how much you can think about the future and how much you can plan for the future that we don't even know, right? Like that. So, yeah, this verse is saying that he's taking that, he's saying, it's my vow. It's a big thing. Vow is a big thing. It's a strong promise that I'm promising you that if you do that, then I will give you the courage. But and this is what the Christians call as, the leap of faith. That is the leap of faith to be able to jump over onto that side and say, yes, I have that faith and I will do it. And so it requires a lot of courage to do that jump, that one jump. Varshana. Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. You just now said fear arises when I missed the word.
Fear arises when we think that we are, the body, and we think that we are separate from the Lord, right? But we think that we are a soul and we are connected to the Lord as a servant, and I belong to Him, and so where is the worry then? Krishna is the richest. Krishna is the most powerful. So if I'm the child of the most powerful and the most rich man, why do I have to worry about anything like that, right?
Right.
That's
Today, I heard Srila Prabhupada's biography, and Mataji, it was so. I was so inspired today in the morning, and that you see, in that age, he could do so much, and in spite of having 2 heart attacks on the way, and he was having nausea on the way, and what property he had only those books, the you see the main thing he had with him, and he went with so much of courage and fearlessness. It was fantastic, Mataji. It was so encouraging.
Yeah, that's the only way to define Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Fantastic. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So I'm also going to bring up really quickly the verse that I was quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam so that we can read together. Who's next in line to go and read that? Is it me who has to read it?
It's not.
Is it I? Okay. So I won't do the Sanskrit there. I'll just go to the translation. It says that fear arises when a living entity misidentifies himself as the material body because of absorption in the external illusory energy of the Lord. When the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord, he also forgets his own constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. This bewildering, fearful condition is affected by the potency for illusion called Maya. Therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in unlight devotional service of the Lord under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, whom he should accept as his worshipable deity and his very life and soul. What do you think of that? Solution to our problems, right? Because fear is there.
Yeah.
I remember I remember about easily 25 years ago. So which means that I was a young fool. I'm still a fool, but no longer young now. The fool thing still remains. So so I was in the middle management in a company in India. And so they had brought, it was a very nice company which had spiritual overtones to whatever they did. So they invited somebody to come and especially address the middle management, because middle managements are in a very bad situation. They take from both the sides. And so he was talking about fear, and he said that raise your hands for people who don't have any fear. I raised my hands, I don't have any fear. And I did the mental calculation, what am I afraid of? Nothing. I'm in this nice job. What is there for me to be afraid of? And then he was doing a lot of techniques on us and a lot of brain thinking, intense thinking. And so he also said that some of you will have bad dreams tonight because of all that has been discussed here today, and because it'll have an effect on your mind. And I was like, my dreams are very entertaining. I don't have nightmares. My dreams are very entertaining. And so that night I went to sleep. And you will not believe, I dreamt that, in my house, a lion had come. A big lion had entered my home. And I was thinking, where is my daughter? I was so scared, and then I woke up. And then I remembered that to say that I don't have any fear is a very tall claim. It's a very tall claim to say that we are all afraid of so many things in life, so many things. Yeah, so that is why you need somebody to guide you throughout your life, which will, take you away from this, I am, this egoistic position. And, money is something that aids a lot in us becoming egoistic, because you are able to get a lot of things done. Like that. So, yeah. Okay, so are we ready to go to? Okay. We'll wait till Deepa settles down and then we'll start reading. Are you good, Deepa? Are you settled nicely in this material world? Papa says never get cozy here. Never try to get cozy. Okay. Am I sharing the contents of Gita summarized here? Can you see it or am I not sharing it?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
But I can share if.
Oh, okay. I shared it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Who goes now?
It's me, I think, Mataji.
Ooh, wow. Okay. Go.
Contents of the Gita summarized. Text 1. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy.
Text 3. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Text 4. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship?
Text 5. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Text 6. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live, yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
Hare Krishna, text 7. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Text 8. I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Hare Krishna.
Text 9. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Text 10. O descendant of Bharata, at this time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna.
Text 11. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking the learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all the kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Text 13. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O son of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Hare Krishna.
Text 15. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both.
That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata.
Text 19. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in his knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. For the soul, text 20. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Hare Krishna.
Text 21. O Partha, how can a person who knows that soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Text 22. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones.
Hare Krishna, text 23. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Text 24. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burnt nor tried, but he is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Hare Krishna.
Text 25. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, we should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament. O mighty armed.
One who has taken the birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what need is there for lamentation?
Text 29. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being.
Text 31. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. Text 32. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets.
Text 33. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Text 34. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
The great text 35. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Text 36. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
Text 37. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Text 38. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, thus or gain victory or defeat. And by so doing, you shall never incur sin.
Hari Bol. So we did our chapter of Bhagavad-gita, half of it. And then we were doing 17, right? We hadn't completed that. Okay, here. And if I remember correctly, someone had a question yesterday, right? Which we didn't pick up. Do you still remember your question? Okay, let's read this. Who's going next to read?
I will read, Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
अविनाशी तु तद्विधि येन सर्वम् इदं ततं विनाशम् अव्यस्य यस्य न कश्चित् कर्तुम् अर्हति.
Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Yeah. So later in the day, just practice more on this word, avayasyasya, right? In the synonyms, you'll get the breakup. So just practice this one. Otherwise, the rest was very good. Okay. Who goes
Yeah.
after Varshana Mataji?
Me.
Okay, Deepa, go ahead.
Avinashi, imperishable. To, but. Tat, that. Vidhi, know it. Yena, by whom. Sarvam, all of the body. Idam, this. Tatam, pervaded. Vinasam, destruction. Avyasvaya, of the imperishable. Asya, of it. Na kishchit, no one. Kartum, to do. Arhati, is able.
Very nice. So question for the team here. If something is pervading, what do you call that in Sanskrit?
Tatam.
Tatam, right? It's an interesting word, isn't it? Tatam. Tatam. And if something is imperishable, what do you say?
Avinashi.
Obvious.
Avinashi.
Avyayasya.
Yeah, there.
Avinashi.
So both of them are there, right? Avinashi is there, and then of course Avyayasya.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Yeah, usually Avyayasya is used for in inexhaustible is also used, in the other places. Prabhupada also translates it as that. So imperishable and inexhaustible, right? Like for example, funds will be exhausted and vegetables can perish. You see the difference between them? That's something you
Yes.
consume. So like, sometimes people say, na, ye mera dimag kha liya. He just consumed my brains. What does that mean? You consume my brains, right? They didn't come and eat it, but I have exhausted exhausted of my capability to think any longer. My brains are, fried also, as they say over here. So avyayasya. So tatam, right? And again, this word is vidhi. So there are two D's over here, right? So with, there's a da and there's a dha there. So if you look at it over here, avinasham to tad, right? Tad, and then there is with, and then there's the dha here. So vidhi, avinasham to vidhi. Okay, what's the translation for that?
That which
Know
pervades
it.
the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul.
Very nice. Okay, let's go to the purport quickly.
This verse more clearly explains the This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body in part or as a whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and pleasures of the one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul. And the synonym of the soul's presence is perceived as individual consciousness. This soul is described in 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in the size. I think next person can read.
Okay, the Shwet Ashvatar Upanishad 5.9 confirms this. Balagra Shata Bhagasya Shatadha Kalpitasya cha Bhago Jivaha sa Vigneyaha sa Chantaya Kalpate. Next person.
When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is a measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same version is stated.
केशाग्र सतभागस्य सतां सा सदृशं सत्मकः जीवा सूक्ष्मा स्वरूपोऽयं संख्यातो हि चित्कना. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000 of the upper portion of the hair.
Okay.
Therefore, the individual particle of spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. This very small spiritual spark is the basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. The next person can read. Should I continue?
No, Mataji, just this current of the spirit soul, is this correct, Mataji? I have to read.
Yeah.
This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of this presence of the soul. Any layman can understand that the material body minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. Therefore, consciousness is not due to any amount of material combination, but to the spirit soul. In the Mundak Upanishad 3.1.9, the measurement of the atomic spirit soul is further explained. Hare Krishna. May I continue, Mataji?
It's between you and Dupali.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay. Eshonoratma chetasa viditvayo yasmin pranaha panchadha samvivesha prana pranesha chittam sarvam ottam prajanam yasmin vishuddhe vivvate esha atma. Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air: prana, apana, vyana, samana, and udana. Is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is
Sorry, my mouse is doing that. Here.
exhibited.
The Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kind of air, encircling the pure soul by different kind of sitting postures. Not for any material profit, but for the liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. My Prabhuji is not here. Shraddha Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the constitution of the atomic soul is admitted in all Vedic literatures, and it is also actually felt in the practical experience of any sane man. Only the insane man can think of this atomic soul as all-pervading Vishnu Tattva.
The influence of the atomic soul can be spread all over a particular body. According to the Mundaka Upanishad, this atomic soul is situated in the heart of every living entity. And because the measurement of the atomic soul is beyond the power of appreciation of the material scientists, some of them assert foolishly that there is no soul. Next person can go.
Who goes next?
Garima Mataji's turn to read.
Next person can read.
Yeah.
Priyanka Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Yeah, I'll read. The individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the super soul, and thus all the energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body. The corpuscles, which carry the oxygen from the lungs, gather energy from the soul. When the soul passes away from this position, the activity of the blood generating fusion ceases. Medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of the energy is the soul. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energies of the body.
Hare Krishna. Such atomic particles of the spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. In the sunshine, there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic spark of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha, or superior energy. So whether one follows Vedic knowledge or modern science, one cannot deny the existence of the spirit soul in the body. And the science of the soul is explicitly described in Bhagavad-gita by the personality of Godhead himself.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay, good.
Mataji, this is pronounced like this only, explicitly?
Explicitly.
Explicitly. Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Explicit and explicitly.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Mataji, we had a question on Mataji, these to Hatha Yoga and the soul is the atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. So this is atomic. So on this paragraph and the next paragraph, Mataji, Hatha Yoga.
Okay, so let's go to Hatha Yoga and see what is the question. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sharing that.
Yes, Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kinds of air and circling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures, not for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. So I think the question was, Mataji, that do we really get liberation by Hatha Yoga because Bhakti Yoga is the supermost?
Yeah, so he's saying that I'm doing it for liberation, right? He's not saying that, you know, from this I will definitely get liberation. I'm doing it for liberation. For example, if you say that I'm sending my child to kindergarten so that he can become a doctor, you see, like that, because he has to do that stage first, then go to high school, then go to a medical school, and then become a doctor, like that, right? But the initial stages have to be done. And not necessarily they have to be done, but some people have a tendency to go that route, so they will go that particular route. If you can take to Bhakti Yoga straight away, then that is fine, like that. And so what happens with this Hatha Yoga system is that you will be going into sitting postures, which are nothing but the asanas that they talk about, right? So you are doing these asanas, and a person so a person will be doing that. And what happens is that devotional service will come to you in an imperceptible manner. To you, it might just look like, you know, what does it mean? Downward dog position, the sun salutation, this and that, cat position, cow position. Like, what are you doing with all these animals which are there? You know, why am I becoming like them? Why am I going to these kind of positions? But what this verse is saying is that these will help you regulate the air which are inside your body. And you know, because of the way that the air flows in our body, that we will do certain things and we'll have certain tendencies to do that, right? And so Hatha Yoga will help in the purification. And once things are purified, your consciousness is improving a little bit, then you'll be more conducive for listening to Krishna Katha. And I can tell you, there's no better example than the one sitting in front of you right now. Because I started, my friend and I decided that we will go and join some yoga classes. You know, our local community college was offering yoga classes for free. So we're like, all right, all that you have to do is go on every Saturday for a couple of hours, and then that's it. It was a 6 month course. So, and we wanted, both of us wanted, like, to reduce a size and come to size 10 or something like that, the crazy sizes that are there. And so we went there, and there was a teacher, and I always used to laugh because our teacher was from China. And I used to laugh, and I used to say, like, I'm an Indian sitting in America learning yoga from a Chinese. So it was so funny, but she was a very nice teacher. And so she used to ask us to go into poses. And of course, once you go to those classes, you realize that how bad it is to be just sitting on a chair the whole day, and your body is so rigid, can't flex and things like that. And then, so she would tell, and I would just go there and I would practice, and then come back home, forget all about it. Then next week go, and the teacher will say, now go into this pose, and I cannot do it. So one day she very gently said that, you should also practice at home. So I said, okay, I'll start practicing at home. So then I started practicing at home, and then I got a taste of it. I started doing it. I made it into my regimentation, and so on and so forth. So this was all happening in January. And by the time it was May, I had to write the exam for that. I wrote the exam, and, I got an A grade in that because teacher was very happy because I did all the poses that she asked me to do. And then that's it. I would have thought that that's it. I got my degree, I got my A grade, and fine. I got to size close to 10 also, like that. And you will not believe that was May of 2007. And in September of 2007, this Bhagavad-gita mysteriously appeared in my life. So you see, you have to go to the nursery school to become a doctor, like that. So I went to do the Hatha Yoga system. Imperceptibly, something was happening to these airs in my body, that I was more susceptible, more, receptive, not susceptible, more receptive to listening to spiritual talks, like that. So Hatha Yoga, yeah, and some people, maybe they're already at that purified level that they don't need that purification, but I needed it. I needed that purification. Then Krishna arranged for that purification, like that. My friend comes and she says, let's go and do that. And I'm like, all right, let's go and do that. Like that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, Mataji, it is not mandatory to do it, no?
Yes.
Otherwise.
Yes. It's not mandatory to do number one. And then following the Hatha Yoga, right, there is also pranayama, right? Pranayama is where you control these airs in your body. And so for Hatha Yoga, which most of us will do, like, let's do yoga. Why? Because I'm putting on weight. So I need to do some yoga, right? Or I have a heart problem, let's do some yoga. Or I have got high blood sugar. Okay, is there an asana that can bring down my sugar? That's the kind of questions that we ask, right? So there's a yoga, there are mudras, all these kinds of things. They will teach you how to do all that for better well-being of the body. And yes, you that is there. You will become, the body will definitely become good, right? If you do all those kinds of things. But if you're in devotional service and you say that, where's the time for me to do all that? Don't be so much over worried about that. Because if you go out on book distribution, you get all the exercise that you need, like that. And then when you recite these Sanskrit verses, right? When you recite verses in Sanskrit, then pranayam, which is breathing, the proper breathing automatically happens when you read from the scripture. So there's there's no separate, and that is why they're constructed in such a way. They're constructed in such a way that the breathing will be regulated because of that, because you have to pronounce it properly. So that's why sometimes I insist on the right pronunciation coming for you, and I'll stop you and I'll tell you, no, this is not right, because that way you do pranayam also, which is regulating of this air so that they flow nicely in the body, and like that. So, and you will also notice that, so that's why there's a meter to all these poetry which is there. And if you mispronounce it, then the meter is lost. The meter is lost, and your thing is there, right? I mean, like today you were singing Barshana Mataji in a particular meter, right? But then you were uncomfortable with some words, and that's why I was saying, go back home and practice that, because then you will notice that as you're practicing it, the breathing will also align, and you will know that. There's a lot that goes into writing Sanskrit poetry. It's not just you just sit down and say, oh, the sky was blue, The sun was shining. My heart was this. It's not like that. I mean, I was like shocked. Everybody likes rhymes and things like that. So when I was growing up, I think at that time this modern poetry concept came, which was prose, abstract prose, which you could never even understand. And they said, this is poetry. So I could never understand that. To me, poetry is there should be a meter, there should be a rhyme, there should be some joy in when you're reciting it like that, or there should be some taste, if not joy. There should be some taste. You should feel some of the taste there, right?
Thank you, Aditi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what else you found here from this?
So Mataji, pran, pan, vayan, saman, udan. You see, so it was a little these words. I don't know the meaning of all these.
Okay, I would actually congratulate Deepal Mataji for having pronounced these words so correctly, because she read it as Sanskrit is read, right? And in Sanskrit, what happens in Sanskrit?
Pran,
Prana,
pan.
apana, vyana, samana, and udana. In Hindi, it will be pran, apan, vyan, saman, udan. But in Sanskrit, prana,
Okay.
apana, vyana, samana, udana.
Okay.
You see the difference between this udana, this is a bigger A, and this is a small A, right? So the pressure and the emphasis will be proportionately like that. Okay, because in Sanskrit, if sometimes the words will end in a half letter, and so then you will pronounce it as, for example, if this, how do I say that? Let me put. I don't have an example here. Let's go to the Sanskrit for this, maybe. Yeah, so, like this is that we always say tatam, but it is we always say tatam, right? Why did I not call it as tatama? Right? Prabhupada did not put an A after this, right? You go and you look at this, oh, I'm lucky, this is my lucky day. You see, the word is ending in a half word. This ma with the bar underneath is the halant, or this, whatever this is called, right? Below, underneath it, it's saying that it is half M. So you will just say tatam. So this is tatam. If this line was not there, it will be tatama. And if an extra line is there in front of it, it'll be tatama, like that. So when you pronounce, that's why we are saying tatam, right? Tatam. You see, there's tatam, but here there is a at the end of it. So avya yes yasya. We won't say avya yes yasya like that. We won't stop here. We will pronounce this A also like that. So there's a difference. Sometimes words end with half letters, and so in English transliteration, we'll just put the corresponding letter. If this is a full letter and doesn't have any, like marks and underneath like this, then you will put an A at the end of it. For example, this is yasya, right? So it's a full word, right? A full letter. So you see it is YA over here, right? Over here you see vina. So there is an N and there's a na and there's a line in front of it. So that makes it bigger. So you see it is N and an A, and then there's a bar on top of the A. So that's how you will pronounce it. Like that. Okay, so then talking about the different kinds of pranavayu. So how many are there?
5.
5, okay. Prana, apana, samana, right? Like that. Okay, so I had actually some time ago prepared a slide for that. So I'll just bring that up. Might be easy. And also when we visualize things, it's easy, right? So let's just bring this up here and see if you can see my screen that I'm sharing. Just bear with me here. If this goes full screen, then it gives me grief. Yeah. Where are you, Zoom? Come on up. I want to share the screen with these wonderful devotees who are here. I'm sharing my Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes, Mataji.
All right. And I'm going to go into the Power slideshow. And can you see it still?
Yes.
Okay, good. Right. So,
We can see.
yeah. So here, oopsie doopsie. So that there is prana. What is prana? Prana is the main air that you see passing through the nose while you're breathing. That is prana. So when people die, you see that they stop breathing. So that is known as prana pakheru uduge, right? Prana's left the body. So on a gross level, we are saying that the person has stopped breathing. And that's why we say that everybody comes with a fixed number of breaths that he's going to take in life. Their life and your lifestyle is determined by, your lifespan is determined by that, how many breaths you're going to take. And that is why the doctor is saying you should learn not to breathe shallow breaths. You should breathe deeply. So when you have a deep breath, like that, learn how to breathe deeply. And then it'll improve your health and your lifespan will increase, they say. And what does it mean that lifespan is increased? Is because you have a fixed number of breaths that you're going to take. Now, if you're going to take more time to take each individual breath, then your life is automatically going to increase in duration, like that, right? So the main air that is passing through the nose in the breathing is called prana, right? Then the air which passes through the rectum as evacuated bodily air is called apana. Then when you eat our food, right, the food it passes through our digestive tract, it's adjusted here and there like that. And when we eat, we also swallow some air, right? So the air which adjusts the food stuff within the stomach, and it sometimes sounds as belching, right? So there's a lot of air movement happening inside the stomach, and sometimes it escapes through our mouths. Then it is known as samana. The prana, apana, samana. 3, right? Then the air that passes through the throat and the stoppage of which constitutes suffocation is called udana air. Right? The air which circulates through the entire body is called vyana. So now this is news, right? Because we always thought that the air goes through the nose into the lungs and then it's exhaled out, right? Inhale, exhale. But no, according to the Shastras, air is flowing all over the body. There's air all over. So that's the sum total of that is what we call as the life airs are flowing. Usually not just the prana, there's more. Prana is more visible to us and we can feel it. But there's a lot of air that goes like that also. So prana, upana, saman, apana. These are the chakras. I don't understand chakras, so I'm just going to skip over that, right? Then actually the Srimad Bhagavatam, you can read in more detail, 369, talks about more types of air. They will list some more. So let's look at that. So they're calling a air known as naga. Naga air is what it does is it facilitates the opening of the eyes, the opening of the mouth, etc. Right? So in science, we really learn that to open your mouth, you have to flex the muscles like that, right? But here, they are saying that there is also there's a naga air there, which, facilitates and helps in you to open your mouth. Then again, there is an air which increases your appetite. This is called, krikara air. Then there's an air which helps in contraction is called kurma air. And you will see a lot of times in the Srimad Bhagavatam when they're describing how the living entity takes birth in another body. Then there are, there's an air actually that pushes the fetus out of the womb to take birth like that. So that air is called kurma air, like that. Then the air which helps relaxation by opening the mouth wide in yawning is called devadatta, right? So, normally people say that we are still trying to figure out why do people yawn, right? Well, anyway, yeah. So there's another type of air which helps in, which is involved in when you yawn and which helps you feel a little bit relaxed. And when you're very tired, yawns come more often like that. So does the word Devdatta ring any other bells?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, what bell does it ring?
Bhishma Pitama's name.
Yeah.
Devdatta.
Yeah, the conch shell. Of
The
Bhishma.
conch shell,
name.
right? Whose conch shell is it? Yes, both are right. Yeah.
Bhishma.
Beam.
Yudhishthir.
No, Yudhishthir's is Ananta Vijaya.
Pondra.
Devadatta.
Arjun.
Arjun, right. Devadatta Dhananjaya. And that takes
Yeah.
you to the next air. The air which helps sustenance is called Dhananjaya air. That helps you to live. So there are actually 10, right? And Bhagavatam says that, these airs are generated from the center of the heart, and which is the which is the topic that we are discussing right now, right? That the soul is situated in the heart, and all the energies come from the heart. And so these are generated from within the center of that. These different kinds of airs, there. What are the mechanisms of these, happening and things like that is more into the Sankhya Yoga. But for us,
Mataji,
yeah.
sorry, I missed Kurma. Can you just?
Kurma Avtar. Kurma is
Yeah.
the important one. Kurma is the one that helps in the fetus
Okay.
being ejected from the womb. Like that. All that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.6.9. How will you remember 3.6.9? How can you remember?
Beside the table.
Yes. 3 ones are 3, 3 twos are 6, 3 threes are 9. 3, 6, 9.
I remember Mataji in our evening class of Bhagavatam, we have, I think, gone through these.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There's somebody supporting me there. Yes. Yes.
It's amazing, Mataji, how Shrimad Bhagavatam has details if you want to
Right.
go deeper. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
Because
So
we only
everyone,
know.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that we only know of the 5 kind of airs. That's all we know. Until we read Shrimad Bhagavatam, then we understand, oh my God, there's like all the other different airs that work in different direction. And
Exactly. There's no end to it. I mean, even to look at this material world and try to understand the material things is very, very complicated. I mean, people say that, oh, I'm a Bhakti Yoga. What's the big deal with Sankhya Yoga? Poof, poof. Sankhya Yoga is nothing. But when you come to look at this, it's like so complicated. I mean, you can become a doctor. I mean, just to become a doctor takes years and years and years and years, right? And even after the end of it, you don't even know that there are 10 kinds of airs, right? You don't even know how actually the birth is happening. Right? We are saying muscles are contracting, she's getting contractions. But what is making those contractions happen? Like all that stuff. Yeah. The Shastras are deep. And that's why I said that, when I read the Bhagavatam, I was like, I'm proud to be an Indian. And now, like, I'm proud to be an American talking about Indian scriptures here. Yeah. So that's something very wonderful that comes from the Orient. And this is the knowledge, That's just fantastic knowledge, right?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Today in the morning, I told you when I was listening to the biography of Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned when he was preaching in India, people were not very, they were not taking it very easily, because they felt that it is our own culture, what is there to do that. And then Srila Prabhupada, as it is, he had already decided, because his spiritual master had told him to go to the Western countries and preach in English. So these two things, these were told. And when he went there, and it was, in the beginning, he found it difficult, but later it was accepted very easily by Americans, and after seeing Americans, Indians started taking it seriously.
There you go.
So this was amazing, statement when I heard this today in the morning.
Exactly. And that is why I'm just thinking that, especially Indians who have come from there. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that, if you have taken birth in the Indian continent, then there is a little bit extra responsibility, because you get so many things from cultural momentum, and you should go and you should spread. So especially for people like us who have left India and are situated here, from our own lifestyle and the way we live our lives, we can set an example for others that no matter, you could be in a relatively more opulent area, but we have not forgotten Krishna, and we have dedicated our lives to Krishna and to Krishna consciousness. So that'll help, and that'll encourage people who are there all over the world, right? Like that. Yeah. Because the sad part is that the Britishers, as part of their strategy to rule India forever, blasphemed our Vedic literature because they knew that the strength of India is Vedic literature. And so if we can cut the root there, then we can do infinite damage to the tree of Vedic knowledge. And so they had English schools, and which are prestigious rich people like to send their kids to those schools, and they will learn nonsense from there. And when as you will read the biography of Prabhupada, you'll see that his father was very adamant about not sending Srila Prabhupada to study outside of India, because he knew that they will imbibe the Western culture. And he didn't want him to do that. So you have to study here only. Like that in India. And then of course Prabhupada boycotted the classes and things like that. Because he was going to a Western college. They gave up their degrees and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, this is all knowledge. So what I'm just trying to say here is that when a person dies, the doctor comes, he checks for breathing, breath, he checks for the pulse, and he declares this person is dead, and we're like, okay, this person is no longer breathing. So when we say pran pakheru urgya, so and you notice that when the person dies, there's always a last breath, there's always a last exhale. The person will exhale, and then that is there, right? Like that. So at that time of exhaling and at the time of death, you are giving up everything that you have. So this, the first one, first of the pranavayus, the prana is what you're seeing that the death is leaving the body, but other pranas also leave. And actually, the prana is sort of like a subtle body also. And when you go to another body, the prana also follow. With the subtle body into your new body, your pranavayu also goes. And then what is prana made up of, right? Because it's still material, right? So what do you think prana is made up of? We'd say life air, right?
I think mind and intelligence and consciousness.
That is the subtle body. But here we're talking about prana, right? Like the pran, apan, vyan, saman, right? We are saying these are all airs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are all air. So when we use the word prana, is it just air that we're talking about? And if it's just the air, then how is the air that I breathe different from the air that pushes this out, different from the air that makes you blink your eyes? There are many varieties of this, of the air which are there. The air, when you're yawning, what is it, the mechanism that makes you open your mouth? There's some air that is pushing it and doing all that, right? So the Bhagavatam tells us that prana is it's not just oxygen, or it's not just the air that you breathe. There's also how in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad-gita Krishna defines, and he says the prithvi, vayu, and what is that? I'm forgetting. That talks about the 9. Analo vayu kham mano buddhireva cha, right? Prithvi, yeah. Prithvi, what is water called? Can somebody?
Anila?
No, anila is air.
Oh.
Anyway, 7.4 lists that. So earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? And then mind, intelligence, and false ego, these are my separated energy. And then beyond that, there is a superior energy. He says that, right? So Prithvi, Jal, Tej, Vayu, Akash, mind, intelligence, and false ego, this entire material world is just made up of these elements. Entire. So even if you're talking about the Pran Vayu, it will be made up of all these things. So Pran Vayu has got some, as majorly is air. It has also got some water, little water, and then kham, which is space. Space is defined, the kham is defined as space. So these three together make pranavayu. Okay? And then when we leave the body, it comes with us into the next body. How and the mechanics of all that, so here you can see the Sankhya Yoga gets more and more complicated as you go more and more into it. And as long as we know, at the periphery, if we have some peripheral knowledge, that much knowledge is good enough, because Sankhya, material energy is like a tar baby. You touch it and you are stuck to it. So similarly, if you start going very much deep into the Sankhya Yoga, we will get lost in it. And before we even know, we are 85 years old and haven't done our chanting like that. So Prabhupada, that's why you'll notice that when he's teaching, right? When he's teaching, number one, he didn't even go through all the scriptures. He said, You are born in this world, in this Kali Yuga, you'll have a shorter life, you'll have a shorter memory, you will have very poor intelligence and things and like that. So don't even think, oh, I'm going to read the Vedas, I want to read this, I want to read that. He just said, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita. Start with Bhagavad Gita like that, and then go to Bhagavatam, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita like that. So he didn't ask us to go and read more scriptures, and nor did he. If Prabhupada wanted, he could have delved a lot in the Sankhya Yoga and talked about that. But what was the focus of Prabhupada was always that we should all be doing Bhakti Yoga. So to that extent, he will not encourage you too much into, because you can go and get books and read on, how exactly does it happen, and how exactly does the soul leave the body. So you should not be interested in how exactly the soul going to leave the body. You should be interested in where is it going to go after it leaves its body, right? The mechanism of leaving the body are already there, right? I mean, whether you know about pran, vyana, pansamat, karkash, naga, nriga, this and that, right? Kurma, whether you know about those airs or not, they are still working on you. It's still happening. You don't have to try to take control of that. Right? It's still happening. And that's why, if you are doing Bhakti Yoga, if you're chanting verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Bhagavad Gita, then pranayama is already happening. The prana is already being controlled without, you having to explicitly go and say, now I need to do some, drilling of the respiration is what Prabhupada's spiritual master said. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, who was a very forceful personality, and if he had to, put down something, he would do down in a very strong manner. And he says that in Brahma Samhita, which he translated. He says, drilling of respiration. Basically, it's pranayama, So you have a drill, and you're trying to adjust this and adjust that. So no, just read the Shastras, recite them loudly. It'll happen. Right? So
yeah, I was Hare Krishna Mataji. I was just thinking that the Sankhya Yoga, if you start discussing, it will become a Gramya Katha.
Well,
it is better to come to Yoga.
Yeah, it's still not in the category of Gramya Katha, though, I would say, because Gramya Katha is Gramya Katha. It's water cooler talk. Water cooler, loose talk. Gramya Katha is loose talk. Who's going out with whom? Who's getting divorced? Who's going to marry? Who got suspended? Who got ditched? Those are Gramya Katha, right? This is still you're seeing material energy, and if you do it in the mood of that, this is Krishna's energy, then that is fine. That is fine, yeah. But not exactly. Gramya is still at a lower level.
Lower. Okay.
Because we didn't do Gramya Katha right now. Right? There's a little that you need to know, yeah. And saying, but we are marveling. So this is what the bhakta will do. When you read all these things, you will marvel at how Krishna has created this entire world, right? That we didn't even know. We just blink like that, without any, without giving it a second thought, it's being done. And actually, Vaisheshika Prabhu says very nicely, and I'll end it on this note, is that he says that you are not breathing. You are not breathing. Now, when it comes to life airs, we should talk about that, right? So we say, I'm breathing. He says that you are not breathing. And he gives a very nice exercise, and which you all can do. And this is now, stop your breath. Don't breathe for the next 10 minutes. No.
We cannot do that.
Within a few seconds, you're saying that I cannot do that. I cannot do that, right? And he's saying you are not breathing. Because if you were breathing, you would be able to stop it. For example, I'm shaking my hand and you say stop, I will stop. And you say, don't shake it for next 10 minutes. I will, try my best not to shake it for next 10 minutes. But we are being breathed. And who makes us breathe? There are demigods who control the various activities in our bodies. So it gets pretty complicated, right? So rather than doing that, we should just say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, right? And on that nice note, we'll call it a day here. We'll meet again tomorrow for a short class on Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Zoom call, as well as all of you who were watching us here on Facebook. Have a fantastic, fantastic Krishna conscious day. Always remember Krishna and never, never forget him. All right.